Today we're asking the question, what are we doing in the 21st century? Has street art changed our ideas about art? Is that what's going on in the 21st century? Now, we know last century, the 20th century, we had greats like Picasso and pop art and the YBAs in the 1990s, but what are we doing now? So I think the question is, has street art changed our ideas about art? So you have to think, what are your ideas about art? Now, I don't think that it's the answers that necessarily stay the same. The questions stay the same, the answers change. That's the interesting thing about art. Artists are asking questions and answering them at the same time. So for me, street art completely changed the landscape because it was no longer the establishment. It was no longer art galleries. It was no longer top down telling us what art was. We were now deciding and discovering and thinking about what art is. Now, in the introduction, I mentioned Picasso because I want to talk about the way in which Picasso confronted the idea that photography was truth, and it isn't. It's a construct. Let me give an example. It's the way things are viewed. It's the way they're lit. It's the way the picture is put together, the things that are lit, the things that are focused on, the whole way in which the composition leads the eye and leads the opinion to answer the question. And Picasso was saying, well, actually, the human brain's cleverer than that, cleverer than the two-dimensional surface, so that he was drawing 3 dimensions and putting them on a 2-dimensional surface and using line. Let's take that forward to the ideas of the pop artists Richard Hamilton, Eduardo Paolozzi et al. In the 1950s, speaking about the fact that art was no longer in art galleries, it was in popular culture, and that art changed its meaning from high art to low art. It was all art, it was pop art. And then on through the century to the YBAs, the Young British Artists, at the end of the 20th century, thinking about British art, thinking about the questions in art and how they're answering them in a different way, cows in formaldehyde, etc. I loved the piece with the oil at the Saatchi Gallery, but hey, on to 21st century, what are you thinking? What are you thinking